Hey guys, so today I am going to be talking about my piercings. I feel like a good percentage of the questions that I get in general are about my piercings, so I thought I would just come on and answer. And I just want to put this out here right away. I'm not a professional. If you are having issues with your piercings, I suggest you go to a piercer or a doctor. I can't necessarily tell you what to do. All of this is my experience and my opinions. And I would appreciate if you guys would keep your opinions or advice about my piercings or myself or whatever to yourselves. I don't really need any opinions or advice on my piercings, but I am just going to be talking about mine for you guys because I feel like so many people have asked. I'm just going to kind of go from here down because that's the easiest way for me, and I'm just going to kind of talk about the piercing, how long I had it, where I got it, and all of that kind of stuff. I am not going to be talking about my plugs today just because I feel like that's an entirely different video. If you guys want that, then let me know, but other than that, I'm just going to be talking about the piercing strictly there. So I'm gonna start out with, I guess I'll start with my nose piercings. I have double nose piercings, and I've had this one for a couple years now. I would say about 2 years, and I've had this one 6 months to a year, I want to say, possibly a little bit longer. I did not get this one done professionally, and I got this one done professionally. Of course, my advice is to always go to a professional. You don't want to risk an infection, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys and tell you that I went to a professional for some of these because I didn't, and I'm just gonna be completely honest. So I did not go to a professional on this one, and I did go to professional on this one when I had gotten this one pierced. The person that did this one also did this one, but because they weren't professionally done, this one was in one place and this one was completely in another place. Like, I would look down. They would look okay if I was looking at you like this, but if you saw from above, one would be here and one was like way back. So I took one out and I just had one for a while, but I really like symmetry in myself and piercings and stuff like that, so I needed another one, and I just never really had gotten around to it. I was just at a mall and I went around and got this one done. As far as pain-wise, for myself, I would say that I have a decent pain tolerance, and for me, things hurt, but it doesn't bother me, if that makes sense. Like, if I go and get these done, I'm doing it to myself essentially. So the pain doesn't bother me, it hurts, and I like accept it. For me, these piercings were, it's so hard to remember because none of these are like new. Piercings were like a 4 for me. They mostly just made my eyes water, were a little bit uncomfortable and a lot more pinchy than a lot of my other piercings. This piercing I got, I think, off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure these are 18 gauge, both of them. This one is a full ring type thing and it's like bent on. I got this one on Amazon and this one I got it pierced with. I want to get the same ones, but I need someone else to take this one off for me. So that is just my nose piercings, and then I'm gonna go down to here. I know it's like Philtrum or Medusa. I'm just gonna call it Medusa because that's easier for me in the way I talk. So my Medusa was also not done by a professional, and it is a little bit crooked. I'll show you guys. If I like put my lips in like that, you can see it go in one way. But it doesn't bother me, and you can't tell unless I'm like really pushing it out there, so I just left it. I got this one probably about 3 years ago, and this one is at a 16 gauge, I believe. Probably hurt the most out of any of my piercings. That area right there is just so sensitive, like right under your nose. So for pain, I would say this one is like an 8. And for the Medusa, I've had a pretty okay with the healing, and I forgot to mention with these, at first when I had this one and the first one done on this side, I did not get them infected. However, when I got this one done and this one was done by a professional, this one did get infected. It had that kind of bump on there you could see in some of like my past videos on Instagram, and for that I just did warm salt water, and that's usually what I found that piercers usually suggest doing. This one, however, I'm pretty sure did not get infected. It healed up fairly quickly and I've never had any problems with it. And then going on, I got a Monroe. When I was like a lot younger, I pierced a Monroe by myself, and I actually have like a pretty brutal picture. This picture is from 2010 and I pierced this myself with a sewing needle. Again, do not do that. And I had it for like a day, and then my dad was like, "What the hell did you do?" And I was like, I wanted it, and then I got my actual snake bites. So for that one, I've only had that when I was a lot younger, literally like 7 years ago, for like a day. Now going on to my Dahlias. These are probably like the most asked about ones that I have, and I'm just looking at my phone for like timeline reasons. So the furthest picture back I have here on my phone with my Dahlias is February 9th, 2012, which means I've had them for about 5 years. I got these done at Saks in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and when I went to get these, he had never seen them before, had no idea what I was talking about, but he did it anyway. And a lot of people have questions about like how these are. I have just regular, I don't know how to say, labres, whatever. I have regular piercings like that. So the piercings are just right at the corners of my lips, and I've never had any issues with them tearing or anything even remotely close to that. I feel like everyone always thinks that they're gonna get torn out. I've never had any issues with them tearing or anything like that. So I'm gonna show you guys like what it looks like up close, and if this is way too close for you, sorry. So it's just normal, like this. So with these, occasionally, and I mean like occasionally, I mean like once every like 6 months, they get a tiny bit like sore and infected around the time I get sick. So usually if I'm getting sick, I can tell because one of them will get a little bit sore and a little red, but then I can just do warm salt water and it usually goes away. I don't really have any problems. But the other problem that I've actually had with these ones, and probably my biggest problem, is that they have chipped my teeth a tiny bit, and it's more my fault because I chew on them, just not trying to, but sometimes, and I've broken that habit, so I don't have any issues with that. But like right here, you can see I chipped it right here a little. So that's really the biggest issues I've had with my Dahlias. Other than that, I love them. I don't plan on taking them out anytime soon. I know I've had them for like a really long time, but these ones are probably my favorite ones that I have, just because they're so unique. And I know I definitely wasn't the first to get them, but I definitely had them all before they became a bigger trend within like getting piercings, and so I really like them. And for pain for these definitely hurt more than my snake bites, but less than my Medusa. It feels a lot more, for me anyway, like it was going through more of like your cheek, like it was a little bit harder with the needle opposed to your lip. It's like your lip is really soft, but right here it goes more into the material that your cheeks have. So it was a lot stiffer, and I literally heard, I remember hearing that little bit of like a crunch on that tissue right there. So these ones hurt, but not nearly as bad as this one. And then next is, I used to have snake bites, and I got snake bites, and the earliest picture I have with them is like May 21st, 2011, but I know it was before that because in this picture I have rings in them and I had already changed them. So I would say probably like February 2011, that seems about right. And I had those for 4 or 5 years. I didn't take them out until about 2 years ago. I actually tested it out, and they are still open to this day. I'll probably always have all of the scars around them unless I do something about them to get rid of that. But for a long time I always thought they were closed, but they are not. They're still open. I also got these ones done professionally. They were my first piercings. My mom actually took me to get them, and I was actually pretty young when I got them, so these did end up getting infected as well, but they eventually healed all good. And these ones didn't really hurt. Your lip is pretty soft, so that it doesn't really struggle with like the needle going through or anything like that. I got them when I was like, I'm so seen and stuff like that, you know, that was just the trend. But I mean, I've stayed into piercings my entire life because I've just kept them all. I feel like they're a part of me now. I don't really have too much to say about these ones. They weren't very painful. The healing process was, you know, I was young, so it's probably more on me rather than the piercings themselves. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about those. And then next, I'm just gonna, I mean, like, I'm an adult, I'm gonna talk about it, but I have had my nipples pierced. Those were by far the most painful piercings I've ever gotten, far worse than any of the ones on my face or anything like that. Those were extremely painful, and again, I didn't get them professionally done, but I never had any issues with mine. They were straight and in the right place, and they never got infected. They healed really, really well, but they were so painful. Those ones had like a lasting pain. Like after I got it, they stayed really, really sore for a couple days. And then after that, they kind of just, I didn't really feel anything else and they just kind of healed. And I got those, I don't remember. I want to say I got those in 2014 and I took them out in 2016 just because when I had gained a lot of weight just so quickly, my chest started just expanding a little bit more. They just got a little bit uncomfortable, and so I took them out, and I would like to get them re-pierced, but I don't know if I can go through that pain again. So that is that. And the next, my belly button. I think I actually have a video of me getting my belly button pierced, and I will of course prop that up if I can find it. And I got that in May of 2011. And I don't remember when I actually took it out. I haven't had it for quite a few years. I think I actually took it out because I had always such a problem with the ball falling off on the top, and then the like part going through would fall out. And then I think it fell out, and then I just didn't notice for a little while, weirdly, and then it just closed, kind of let it go. I also gained some weight, so I wasn't really showing my stomach quite as much or anything like that, so I haven't had any desire to get it re-pierced or anything like that. And that was probably my least painful piercing. I got that one done professionally, and when he was doing it, I knew he was doing it, but I literally didn't even feel it. It felt like nothing. Definitely, honestly, like a 0 on the pain scale. That one was always really fun though, because I really like changing the jewelry a lot when I was younger, and I still think they're really cute, although I do think belly button piercings have like gone out of style a little bit. But I was also pretty young when I got that. I've honestly had so many piercings I keep forgetting a little bit, so I'm gonna go back up to my face. I did have my septum for a little while, and that one was not professional, and that one was pretty gruesome because it wasn't even done with like a proper needle or anything like that, and it would never heal. So finally, after a while, I took that out, and I had done that in August of 2012, and I'm pretty sure I kept it for like 2 months. It literally just would never heal, and so I just kind of got done with trying to mess with it and took it out. And I don't really think it looked that good on me. I think these ones suit me a lot better. I just wanted to try it out, and I wasn't really in love with it, so I just kind of took it out. And that one was pretty painful because, again, not professional and totally not even nearly properly done. Don't do that. And then finally, I had a Smiley, which is like the skin between your gums and your lip, right here. I did that one. I don't even remember. I think I can find a picture of it and I'll pop it up here, but I had it for like, I think literally like a month. It was actually pretty annoying, and I thought it was really cute, but I don't really think it's very cute anymore. I had done that one myself, and that one's not painful at all, but I got kind of scared that I was gonna end up ripping the skin right there, and so I just took it out. I don't know, it was more of a pain than it was worth. I was also kind of scared about swallowing like the balls on it, so again, just took it out. I don't know why, but so many people in that point in like my high school were so obsessed with getting it, and again, like, I'm not professional. I was younger, I was stupid, everyone was a little stupid, and I ended up piercing like my boyfriends and a couple other people's just because it wasn't painful and it wasn't like a, you know, like a super scary area to do, and I pierced a couple people's. Again, don't let anyone else do that. And so I think I've pretty much gone over all of my piercings. So I asked Snapchat if there was any questions that they probably didn't think I was gonna cover, so like pain wise and stuff like that. So I'm gonna check those now and answer those. I always actually ask Snapchat when I do videos like this, so if you are interested or want to send me messages, I do answer back a lot of the time, so I'll leave that here. So someone asked how much they all cost. So for the professional ones that I got were my Dahlias, my snake bites, and one of my nose and my belly button. I'm pretty sure that it was 80 to 100 for my Dahlias, as well as my snake bites, and that included jewelry. And I'm pretty sure it was about 40 for my nose, 40 for my belly button. I went to Saks in Albuquerque, New Mexico for all of the professional ones. Anyway, this This one was done in Evolution, I believe, in New Mexico as well. But always remember, do tip your piercer, because if you go back to them next time and you didn't tip them, they're probably not gonna like you very much. I usually always tipped with either 20 or 40 bucks just because I really liked the piercer that I'd went to for a little while. You can usually call up the parlor or look at their website and they will usually have prices. And then someone asked if it's hard taking them out. For me it is because of my nails. I can take them in and out, but I just prefer not to because I make sure they're on tight, and because if they're not, they will just fall out sometimes. And then another person asked if it's made my gums worse, and also if any of my piercings have made my lisp worse. I would say my teeth are healthy as well as my gums. I've never had any comments from a dentist, I don't think, say anything about my piercings besides the little chips on my teeth that were completely my fault. Another person actually asked if I bit them, and it's very, very rare that they will just kind of pop in and I will bite them. Probably like I accidentally bite them once every 3 months. It was really, the chips were really just from me being dumb, and as well as if it's increased my lisp. I talked about this in my Why I Talk Weird video, and none of them have had any impact whatsoever on my lisp. If any of them had made my lisp worse, I would have taken it out immediately. Because lisps aren't usually caused by, you know, like your lip or cheeks or anything like that. It usually has to do with your mouth structure or the being, I guess, what people told me on my Why I Talk Weird video again, as being tongue-tied. So it usually has to do with your tongue or the way your jaw is structured or your teeth. Any piercings like on your lips or anything like that should not affect it. And then next, someone asked, when you first got your mouth piercings, was it uncomfortable to eat/drink? I think overall the healing process for most piercings is actually worse than the initial piercing, just because it gets really sore. You know, sometimes it can continue to bleed a little bit. Usually when you get it pierced, I feel like it hurts for that second and then you're kind of over it until you wake up the next day and it's just constantly sore, you know what I mean? Someone asked, am I planning on getting more piercings? And I am not. I feel like I've gotten most piercings at this point. I don't even know what else I would pierce. I don't really want cheek piercings because I don't want permanent indentations. I wouldn't want eyebrows. I don't really like the one right here. I wouldn't want the one right here either. So I'm gonna go with a no. I don't really think I'll probably ever get any more piercings other than the ones I have now. I don't really have any plans for like how long I'm going to keep the ones I have now, but no plans to get more in the future. And then someone asked how old I was when I got them. For the most part, most of my piercings, besides my nose piercing, I got all when I was underage. And all the professional ones, obviously, my parents took me to because you have to have them sign off. And I was really fortunate to have parents that basically let me do what I want with my body because it's mine. Really, it was just they didn't really want me getting tattoos because those are a lot more permanent than piercings are, and I still got those. However, I have had a lot of people ask, how do I convince my parents to let me get piercings? And you can't really convince. You can kind of tell if your parents are gonna let you or not. When I wanted to get snake bites, I had asked, I think my mom initially, and she said no. So then I asked my dad and he said no, and then I asked him like 12 more times, then he said yes, and he convinced my mom, and that was that. It wasn't really like a huge thing, I don't think, and my parents were pretty easygoing, so that was really that for me. If your parents won't let you get them and they're pretty persistent on it, there's probably no way. Just wait until you're old enough and get them then. Okay guys, and I think that's it. I am sorry if I missed any other points. I feel like since I've had so many piercings, sort of hard to make sure I go into like each one in detail. But I hope this either, you know, helped you or helped your curiosity. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!